So I was looking for another mini bike project, a roller frame. I was on the Go Power Sports website and I was looking for something with front suspension and hydraulic brakes. And this Mega Moto 212 has both. Has front suspension, front and rear hydraulic brakes. So I figured it'd be a perfect start for another mini bike project. So I was trying to figure out what engine to put on this bike. So I figured maybe a Predator 212, maybe a Predator with all the billet parts. Thought about this Briggs 206. I even thought about a Predator Ghost. Any of those engines would be a good engine for the bike. But then Go Power Sports took this bike to the next level and sent out this Tillotson 225 performance engine kit. Yeah, this engine definitely takes it to the next level. I like that really thick blower housing. Guess to protect that flywheel, even though it is a billet flywheel. So this thing's got 72 millimeter bore, 55 millimeter stroke, forged rod, forged piston, billet flywheel, 265 cam, 26 pound springs, Tillotson racing head, large port racing head, 27 millimeter intake valve, 25 millimeter exhaust valve, heavy duty automotive style retainers. And I really like this block. It's super beefy with all the ribbing on it. Came with a slide carb with an air filter. So with that 72 millimeter bore, this engine definitely has room to grow. So just in case 17 horsepower is not enough for your mini bike, you could always drop in a 58 millimeter stroker crank and make this thing a 236. So it definitely has potential, even though it already does produce 17 horsepower. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this 225 Tillotson on the Mega Moto 212, and we'll do a 0 to 30 in top speed, and we'll see what this bike does. So I got a lot of this stuff done on the last video. So now all I really have to do is install this chain and line up this back tire. So make sure I get these marks the same on both sides. These marks on the frame. So on the third mark on this one, so they're both pretty much even. So tighten her down right about there. You snug down these adjusters here. Make sure this jack shaft bolt is tight. Install this part of the chain guard anyway. So go ahead and install this Tillotson on here. And I think it's a nice fit. It'll give me plenty of room to mount a gas tank on here. Fits over here with a slide carb, clears that chain guard. Go ahead and bolt this down. So the kit comes with these 8 millimeter bolts, but I need 5/16 for these brackets for the torque converter cover. I'm just gonna go ahead and leave it off. Another thing I picked up from the Go Power Sports catalog was this Juggernaut driver. Definitely need that with this level of engine on here. And I'll be able to see it without the cover. So I'm gonna go ahead and install the driver and the driven, or the driver and the Juggernaut at the same time. Makes it a lot easier with the Juggernaut. Got the keyway, the Juggernaut's keyway. All right. Install these all at the same time. Make sure the flat side of my belt is toward the back. So you can put these on there as one piece. Right, there we go. Another washer. Throw a little bit of Loctite on this thing. The shaft bolt for the Juggernaut. Okay, on over here, might as well pop this exhaust on here. So another part I got off the Go Power Sports website was this pipe, and I think it's got a perfect bend for this frame. So that fits pretty nice on there. So now I can install this trumpet. I don't have the proper clamp though, so the only way I can put it on there is to tack it on there maybe. But that would look nice on there. All right, so I'll grab the slide out of here and go ahead and hook up this throttle linkage. So I think I need about 2 1/4 at the end of this cable here. So probably gonna have to solder an end on it. Throw the end on this thing. Measure this out, make sure it's pulled out all the way. All right. Let me throw a tip on that. Real quick zip tie up in here to just kind of hold the cable while I'm soldering it. Go ahead and clean this thing off really good. Get this tip nice and clean. Make sure I get plenty of heat on this thing, because that is the key to making it where it doesn't come off. I could use the MIG welder too and just zap a tip on here. Let's see how she fits. Let's see how she fits in the slide. Oh yeah, perfect. If you never did this before though, I'd definitely recommend just buying a cable, because if you don't get enough heat on that. Anyway, let's just pop this slide on here and see if we get throttle. See what happens here. Oh yeah, it would help if I hook my zip tie. All right, now let's see if we got throttle. Okay. Okay, sounds like it's got throttle. Let's see. Yeah, that'll work. So I'm gonna zip tie these vent lines together. Throw the air filter on. Throw this air filter on here. That came with the kit, which is nice. So I'm only going to run part of the wiring harness that came with the bike, just for the kill switch. I'll run this down. All right, so I throw some shrink wrap on these on this harness here. Let me shrink this up. All right, plug this in right here. Zip tie this here. I ran it up here, along here. So there we go, kill switch. So now the only thing I think I have to do is the fuel tank, gas tank. So that's another item off the GPS website. And it's this tank. So it's the same tank I used on this project a while back, this Mega Moto 80. The only difference is the tank's a couple inches longer, the one I ordered for the Mega Moto 212. Yeah, so I really like this tank. I like the cap. It's kind of small or compact, and it has an extension on it, so it fits up in the frame rails. So it's really a good tank for these projects. So now I just gotta figure out what kind of mounts I wanna make up for it. I was gonna mount the tank off of the engine, make up some brackets, but I think instead I'm gonna make up some mounts off the frame and just mount it closer to the frame up on top. So let me remove this seat so I can figure out where to weld up those mounts. Pop these off of here. So if I mount her under here, somewhere around here, I guess I can run some mounts across the frame there and then down, and then use my clamps. Just take some metal, and run it along here and then weld it in a couple braces and then go down with it. So let me mark this metal here. Okay, that ought to do it. So weld that up about right there. Okay, there we go. Got the brackets cut. Got them just setting on there. But anyway, so if I mount the tank about right there. Okay, so I'm gonna get in here and clean up this area right here. I would use my grinder right here, but I don't want to mess up all the powder coat. So I'll just kind of rough it up with a file. Let me get something to cover that engine with. All right, there we go. Now we're covered up. Let's see if I can get a good ground on this thing. Hopefully. So let's weld that up right there. Let's see how that one turns out. Okay, so that'll work. Go ahead and weld up that other one on there. Okay, so now I'm gonna weld up, well, not actually weld up, but bolt up a small piece of angle on this bracket here. So my little angled metal there, and then it'll bolt to the tank. Weld a piece here, that's the shape, basically the shape of the tank. I'll shape a piece of metal to the shape of the tank, a round piece, and weld it right here. And then I can just clamp the tank to that. Okay, so there we go. So let's cut this piece off and weld that to that other bracket, and that'll give me a place to clamp it. Now I'm going to cut my angles off of here. All right, so I got my brackets the shape of the tank, and then I got my tank bracket that come off the bracket on the frame, and I'll just go ahead and weld these two together. Okay, you got the brackets welded up. So now I just bolt this bracket to here. So I got this bracket drilled where it's going to actually mount. Now I can put the tank on here. So I think I'll bolt this bracket on here, clamp the tank to it, and then get the measurement for the other bracket. I got one side on. Now I just measure up the bracket for this side. Try to get the tank kind of even. All right, there. And the cap comes up through the frame rail nice. All right, so let me just measure this. Okay, got this bracket welded up. So let me drill through this one. Okay, got the brackets all painted up. Go ahead and throw this thing back together. Got the tank all bolted on there. And hopefully the seat will slide on there without having to put a button bolt on there. Now all I have to do is put the fitting in the tank and then put a fuel line on here, and I think we're good to go. All right, I got the fuel line on there. Let's throw some gas in it and take her out for a ride. I did 0 to 30 in 3.41. I possibly could get this bike into the 2-second range with a little tuning. Okay, so the bike did 3.410 to 30 and 52.81 miles per hour, almost 53 miles per hour. But it's definitely a quick and fast bike for coming straight out of the box with no tuning. Definitely worth it. I couldn't build this engine for the cost in parts alone to build the same engine myself. So definitely worth it because you can just bolt it on and go.